going on? VanStylesUndergroundHipHop.com. We got Braille all the way from Portland, Oregon.
That's where I'm from.
Yeah. Now, how are you coming out with a fourth album and you haven't been to Boston before?
Because, man, Portland is far away from Boston, man. It's like, I always make it, my tours usually end by like Chicago, maybe you get over to like Ohio. Been to New York City, performing a few times. It's just a long ways away, you know what I'm saying? And I've done south, like Florida and stuff, southeast, but just never made it, man. So now is the time.
Well, it's good to have you here. Of course, we got the new album you're promoting, the IV edition or the 4th edition, whichever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah, well, but there is some meaning behind the name. If you buy the CD, you know. But for those who didn't, and we get a little preview, like what does the name mean?
Well, basically, IV is Roman numeral 4, so that's just for the 4th record. IV also stands as the acronym for International Vision. It also represents IV is in going in the veins. You know what I mean? It's like medicine. It's basically like talking about solutions to social illness. And it's obviously not talking about me being the solution or music being the solution, but more just us as people. It's like if there's starving people, like we can feed them. You know what I mean? It's kind of, that's been my whole tip lately, man. It's just been like, man, we as people can solve a lot of these things on our own. And sometimes we're always waiting for some like crazy thing to happen, or things to change. And I'm proactive in making a change myself within my community, and also being aware of what's going on internationally, which is why it's International Vision. What's going on in the world around me, and seeing what kind of role I can play, even if it seems small. You know what I mean? It makes a difference to whoever is on the receiving end of that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And you're representing God. You're a Christian rapper. You're a Christian person who raps. I don't know which way you like to
I don't even care about labels, man. At the end of the day, like, you could label something whatever you want to label it, but I would rather let it speak for itself. You know what I mean? Like, I could tell you, yo, I got this new blazing single. Well, you're gonna decide if it's a blazing single or not. You know what I mean? And I look at my walk the same way. My walk with God. It's like I could sit here and try and sound holy and sound like I'm doing this or sound like I'm doing that. At the end of the day, I'm trying to walk out my faith, live my life based on what I believe.
Well, let me ask you this: why Christianity? Why not a different religion?
That's an interesting question. I'll kind of tell you my story, because I wasn't raised in like a Christian home. I wasn't raised in a religion house at all. There was no like religion around me. So I was just a hip hop head, and I started being drawn more to like some of the positive hip hop, some of like the native tongues, things like that, because I related to it more. Being like a 14-year-old kid, I was like, I'm not really wilding out, so I related to guys that were just talking about regular life. And around age 14 or so, I met this other guy who rapped, and he just, told me about God, and basically I just looked into it. Is
this a well-known rapper?
No, man. He was just a homie in Portland, man,
what was it that he said to put you onto this, Christianity?
Basically, we just like we're talking. It's funny, man. I was wearing this Echo hat, and at the time nobody was wearing Echo or nothing unless they were up on some hip hop, and so he knew I was a hip hop head just from that. So we were just talking, man, on the bleachers, and he was just asking me if I go to church or anything like that. It's like, nah, really, my family doesn't do that. And he just talked to me about God, talked to me about Jesus, talked to me about just about those things and his own personal experiences and stuff, So I spent about a year looking into it, man, and I really, man, I reached out to God, and I've known ever since then that he was there, you know what I mean? And I feel like I actually have a relationship with God. It's not just me like trying to follow some set codes or set law, man. Like, I'm telling you, man, it's just been incredible, man. Like, just actually feeling God's presence and feeling him work in my life, and watching him turn around situations and stuff. And it would be impossible at this point in my life. It'd be impossible for me to deny God. Like, it'd be impossible. It's not. I don't believe it's that I'm right because I'm right. I don't think I'm right, but I believe that God's right. I believe that there is a God, and I believe that there's redemption for us as people. You know what I mean? It's like I make mistakes every day, but I believe that there's redemption.
Now, in your music, there's no swearing. Most of it is pretty uplifting. There's not really like a lot of talking drugs or anything like that. So we could say that these are not like a big part of your life right now, or have they ever been? These are all common.
I've smoked a couple times, drank a couple times at a very young age, and but then I just decided that wasn't where I wanted to go. You know what I mean? And so I made a decision early on, and it's a conscious decision. I mean, my dad drank and smoked until he passed away. My dad passed away in his 50s. My grandpa passed away in his 50s. My uncle passed away in his 50s, and they all smoked and drank from like age 18.
And none of them were religious people, you said?
No.
Okay.
But I don't even say that to say, like, because honestly,
they weren't introduced to it like you were.
If somebody wants to do that though, and it's like, there's things that I do that aren't good for my body. I mean, I could eat a Big Mac, you know what I mean? And so it's like,
probably
it's not, so I'm not, it's not like I'm saying that, you know, I look down on anybody who does it, but I've made the choice not to, and for my own life, you know, and, but again, there's like a million things that I could sit and bicker about and stuff like that. I'm not really that type of guy, man. I loved my dad regardless.
Definition of keeping it real right here. Thank you very much, Braille, for holding us down. UndergroundHipHop.com.
Much love, y'all.